Hello, and thank you very much for joining me in the studio today. And I'm going to be talking about what brushes actually do, the effects that they can make, and also we're going to be visiting, guess what, Facebook, because I thought it would be a good idea if we actually had a look at some of the posts that have been posted on Facebook. And I know for a fact there's some fantastic paintings on there, and everybody has really done their job well. They really have. So without further ado, I just want to jump in to Facebook now. And this is my Clive 5 Art creative group. I have got a Clive 5 Art family, which is a private group, by the way. But this is an open group. And if you want to join any of those groups, have a look at the links below. Firstly, I'd like to take the opportunity of thanking everybody for subscribing and asking everybody to check their notifications. And make sure that you haven't been unsubscribed from YouTube, because there's been some glitches and things with YouTube, and YouTube sometimes unsubscribes you. So if you haven't been having notifications of my uploads every Monday at 7:30 Greenwich Mean Time, which is UK time, then you need to check your notifications. And also I know for a fact 75% of people watching my videos haven't subscribed. And I just ask you, it doesn't cost anything. Please press the subscribe button. Please help me. Give me a little bit of a boost. Give my channel a boost. And I would be very, very grateful for that indeed. Because as I said, it doesn't cost nothing. So let's have a look. This is the Creative Art Group. There we go. And there's I got another page there. It's Learn to Paint with Clive. I've also got a Clive's Healthy Living and a Mindset as well, where I just go through some basic life, healthy eating habit type of things that it's just for me basically, but I like to share these things and inspire people as well. And you can see on the left hand side there how big I was. And this was last year actually, so I've lost a little bit of weight since then. Anyway, we're not here to talk about my weight. Let's have a look at some fantastic paintings that we've got. And what a fantastic painting this is. It's 24 by 36 and it's called The Dive Seascape. My husband painted. It's oil on canvas. Well, I'll take my hat off to that. I take my hat off to that one. That is fantastic. Look at the green in that wave. And this is what we got to try to emulate when we paint in something like that. We need to get that light coming through. Water's transparent. We need to show the transparency of water. So add a little bit of yellow, a little bit of white, some phthalo green. Get that greeny type of color and get some shadows in that on the foam. And what a fantastic painting that is. And you can get this effect with acrylics and not just with oils. But I take my hat off to you on that one. That's really, really beautiful. And Barbara has done Charlie pastel on pastel mat, and the detail in that is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. That is brilliant. I've got to be honest with you. That is, I'm in awe. I am in awe over that one. Fantastic, and I love seeing these be shared on the website, because I tell you what, they inspire so many people. They really do. And if you don't think you're good enough to do something like that, practice, practice, practice. That's all I gotta say. And Sheila has done Hope, and this is really, 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 really well done again. I really like that. Fantastic thing. Pets are one of my favorites, and you've done a phenomenal job there as well. Absolutely amazed with that one. And Bridge said, Bridge said, I've watched Clive 5 Art, that's me. I'm painting a seascape and I used a bit of artistic license and I did this one. And that's what it's all about. All I want to do is inspire, to help you create, become your own artist. I don't want to show you how good I am. I just want you to be as good as you can be. And that's all I want to try and do, is inspire you. I don't want to be one of these people that says, you know, I can do this and I can paint this and I'm this good. You know, we don't have to be good. We just have to enjoy. And that's what my channel's all about, is enjoyment and inspiration. And Incoming Storm, Lynn Gummer has done this one. So, and I like the leaves on that one. I like I don't know if that's rain or sun rays, but it could be either. It's up to your imagination. What do you think that is? What do you think that is? I think it might be some rays of sunlight coming through the dark clouds. It could even be some little sparkles of rain coming down there as well. But Lynn, I've got to take my hat off to that one as well. That is phenomenal. Phenomenal. Okay, and we got one down here. Angela, I've been watching Angela painting this for quite a while now. Well, not a while, but I've been following her on Facebook, and it's very reminiscent to. I can't think the artist now, but it doesn't really matter. I like these type of abstracty type of paintings, and you've done really well with the clocks there. So yeah, keep going. If it's, I don't know if it's finished yet, but that is phenomenal. What's the time, Mr. Postman? But it's lovely. It is a lovely, well done. And Shane, I was looking at this. I was looking at this earlier, and I thought it was a squirrel, but it's not. It's a chipmunk. It is a chipmunk. Yes, a couple of chipmunks, a frog, and there's a little ladybug. If you have a look at the top flower there, the yellow one, you'll see a little ladybug up there, and the toadstools, mushrooms. What do you call them? I don't know. They could be toadstool mushrooms, but yeah, and some flowers in the background. Fantastic, fantastic. Well done on that one. And Roberta Tota said he's painted Hulk Hogan. I remember Hulk Hogan. I used to watch the wrestling quite a lot in the 80s, 90s type of time, and very inspirational man he is. He's and they work really hard. You know, they weren't just wrestlers; they were actors, and what a fantastic era that was for wrestling indeed. And this brings me over to Bridget, and Bridget said she's done this in oils to brighten up her hubby's office, and I hope it doesn't hurt his eyes. It's absolutely good. I like it. It's very reminiscent to a Bob Ross type of sunset, isn't it? You know, you've got that orangey yellow in the sky, very similar to a painting. These type of colors, I love these type of colors, and the waves again, and you've got the dark under the foam patterns there, which makes it give it depth. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go through a couple more, and then we're going to have a look. Then we're going to have a look at what effects these brushes can do, because I talked about brushes last week. But I think it's important that I give credit to some of my followers, subscribers, and if you want to be on one of these, then keep posting your pictures and paintings on my Facebook groups, and who knows, you might be talked about on here as well. So, but it's a fantastic thing. I have a request. Someone has asked me to put this painting of mine onto an apron for him. Any suggestions how or where, please? Thanks in advance, says Angela. Well, that's a fantastic a leopard. No, it's not a leopard. It's a lion. No, it's not. It's an elephant. It's an elephant. I'm only joking. Angela. Don't shoot me down. I'm only teasing you. You can get transfer paper. I've seen it. You can get some transfer paper. I'm not too sure if that's any good. I'm not sure how long that would last. You could take it to a printer's, give them a high definition print, and they will print it onto a t-shirt for you. Don't know. You could get it done on eBay. Have a look on eBay. Maybe that would help. And I'm just going to have a look at one more, and then we're going to have a look at this video. And this is from Chi Holy. Just finished Urban Colors Purple Acrylics on stretch canvas, 18 by 24, and it's a scene of a tower block. And I love the sky. Wow, look at that sky. Look at the effect on that. Look at the purples and the yellows, and it looks wonderful. It looks like the Greenwich Towers, doesn't it? It looks like something reminiscent of London, maybe urban London. Don't know sure where you are, Chihu, but yeah, that is amazing. Absolutely, that is amazing, and well done, everybody. Absolutely fantastic. So, what I thought I'd do now is because I was working on a painting. No, I was making a video, wasn't I? Let's be honest, I wasn't painting. I was making a video last week on brushes. I was going through my selections of brushes and things like that. So I thought it might be a good idea to actually go through what these brushes can do, something like a large detail, medium detail, small detail, half rigger. Now this video was actually made a few years ago, as I said. I'm not going to hide anything for you. These are not new videos in any way, shape or form, but it's a good idea to revisit these things because I think it's important that I got a lot more subscribers. In fact, I've had 3,500 more subscribers this week already. So obviously they haven't seen everything, and for some reason a lot of videos are hidden in the depths of YouTube. I've got nearly 600 videos out there, but not every single one of them gets visited, and I don't know why that is. So I've taken it upon myself to revisit some videos, and I'm hoping that this will be of use to you. So without further ado, let's go along and have a look at this video this evening, and listen to myself waffle, I think. So we look at the first 4 brushes. The first brush is the large detail brush, and this brush holds a lot of paint, but it still goes quite a fine point. So it's alright for tree trunks and washes and glazes and that type of thing. And I'm going to be using a green paint. I've just got a bit of flow improver in it just to let it flow a bit better. But as you can see, it comes to quite a fine point. So the idea is to put it on, and if you want to get it to a point, you just pull away and twist the brush. You can get to a nice fine point. Again, you can get a nice thick line with this brush, or you can get a thin line with this brush. And you can do grasses, trees, trunks, glazes, all that type of thing. And that's your large detail brush. So it's quite effective, isn't it, if you think about it, the large detail brush, because it can do so much. It can do so much. So if you've got one of them in your arsenal, all well and good. Let's get on to the next one. Moving on now to the next brush, which is our medium detailed brush. Again, it's the same thing as the large detail, but it's just a smaller version. And this is, you can use this for painting thinner lines, medium-sized tree trunks. You can get nice sharp lines with it again. You can use it for grasses. You can use it for shading. You can use it for blocking out colour. And it's quite a nice universal brush. I use this particular brush quite a lot when I'm doing glazing and underpainting. You can get very thin lines with it as well. So that's a medium detail brush. Now these are not special brushes. They're not all designed specifically for acrylics. I can use water brushes with acrylics because acrylics is a water-based paint. I'm just cleaning my brushes as I'm speaking. So basically, we've got a large detail and a medium detail brush. We have. And they're basically the same brush, just one slightly smaller than the other. So you can get the same effects with both, in fact. And it's very important that we maintain our brushes really well, because if we don't, they will harden up on us, and that's not something we want to do, and I'm going to be discussing that again on another video. So let's move on to the smaller detail brush now. I think that would be a good idea, and see what that one does. The next brush, again, is in the same family as the large and the medium detail, and we've got a small detail brush. And these are used for fine trees, twigs, very fine detail basically. That's all it is. And again, you can get a nice thick line with that. You can do some nice pebbles, or you can paint eyeballs. You know, you can do that. You can use this. It's a small detail brush. So if it's some small details you want, then this is ideal for the job. And again, you can get a nice thick line if you push down hard. You can also get a very, very tiny line. I tend to use just the tip of this particular brush rather than its body, because in its nature, it's nice for fine detail work. So that's the family of detail brushes. You've got the large, the medium, and the small. And like I said, with the small one is normally just the very tip of that I use, and you've got to make sure that the paint is not thin, but it's like a consistency of like a cream color, a cream. So you can add a little bit of water, a bit of flow improver, a little bit of retarder or something like that. So don't over thin your paints. You want it nice and runny basically, but not too runny. It all depends what you're painting on, whether you're painting on paper or canvas. Obviously, paper doesn't really matter how thin you make your paint, because it's just going to soak into the pores of the paper. But the small detail brush is mainly, as it says detail, and is mainly for detailing, and that's basically what I use that for. Like I said, is like pet eyes and thin hairs and all little tiny branches and all these type of thing, blades of grass, and but always make sure when you wash your brush, you keep the points as sharp as possible. And I'll be talking how to do that on another lesson. And on the last member of the family, it's known as the half rigger brush or script liner, and this comes to a very sharp point, and you can get very thin lines with this brush. And the reason it's called a rigger brush is because it's primarily used for doing rigging on sailboats and that type of thing. But you can do scripts with it. Again, you can use this for signing your name. You can use it for very fine branches, twigs, small blades of grass, very fine blades of grass. And the further you hold this brush back, then the finer you've got, and the more control you've got of the brush itself, so you can put nice branches on and that type of thing. But don't use the brush like that, because you can damage the bristles, so you need to just use the tip of the brush itself. So very fine brush indeed is the 1/2 inch rigger, or the rigger brush. And as I mentioned there, it was primarily used for rigging on boats, and they used to use the mark stick, and it'll draw down the lines like that, or even against the stick itself to draw in the rigging on boats and things. And it's also used for pinstriping and things like that, and that's what I used to use. I used to use a different type of brush, slightly bigger brush enough for pinstriping, when I used to do sign writing, because I used to do a lot of traditional hand sign writing when I was younger. Actually, I had an apprenticeship for a sign writer. Little did you know that. So let's get on. Now, moving down our canvas, this will bring now us. Now, moving down the canvas, this will now bring us into the stippling brushes. And I'll start off with what's commonly known as a golden leaf brush, but you don't have to buy these brushes specifically. You can get yourself a little 1/2 inch artist brush like that, and just distress it a little bit. And you need to tap into the palette with these brushes. Tap in the palette like that to get the bit of the paint in, and you need just to take the excess off. And these are used for tapping in leaves and foliage on the trees. And primarily I use this for my first dark application of leaves, so I will go in with a smaller brush then to emphasize that. You can use it for grasses, or you can use it on the side for bushes. So you can see it's quite a universal brush, that little golden leaf brush, or you can just get a very small, cheap a bristle brush from an art shop or a DIY centre. So it's good for blocking in the first one or two layers of underpainting on trees and things. Good for grasses, good for bushes. I quite like that, in fact. So right, let's get on to the next one. With the golden leaf, I'll put my main darks in with the golden leaf. I will then go into a lighter mix, which would be my first highlights, and again pushing onto the palette, splaying the edges. I will use this foliage brush then, and it's the same basically as the golden leaf, but it's just a smaller brush and you can get a little bit more finer detail with it. Again, brush up for grass. You can brush down as well if you wanted to. And a good thing about these brushes is that because they got multiple heads, you know, multiple fiber hairs, then, and it's quite a bristly brush, that you can get all these little tiny little dobs of paint to emulate leaves and foliage and stuff like that. So you're not actually have to be there for hours and hours putting all these little tiny little dots on to represent leaves, like you've seen some artists, oil artists do, and things like that, which you can do, and I have done. I've just used one brush and I've sat there for hours doing this just to get like the photorealistic type of effects. But I'm not into photorealism because it takes so long. But makes for a fantastic painting. But I'm always up for doing something as fast as possible with the best effect as possible. And these are the brushes that I found, and they work really well for me. And give them a try. You can drag it from side to side. You get the idea. And you can push hard if you want to put a bush in place. As such. And you can make your own size brushes, as I showed you earlier. That's even smaller again. Again, it'll give you the same effects, but just smaller. So you can put on your final highlights with this brush. So you can just be selective where you're going to put those. And again, bringing us on to the fan stipplers. These are just a fan shaped version of the foliage brush, and this curved top basically shows you the shape. So that's the oops, there we are, there's the fan brush. As you can see, it's curved on the top. Okay, now it's the same as those brushes basically, but it's just in a fan. And what do you do with this brush then? So, like I said in the other video, which is in the iCards if you haven't seen it, that you can make your own fan brushes by just splaying the ferrule. You knock the ferrule and the bristles spread out like that, and you get a knife and you can trim them. Basically, that's all a fan brush is. It's just squished brush basically, and it's been trimmed. And you can play around with these brushes and you can retrim them and shape them. Don't be afraid to get a scissors to them and get them the way you want them, because I've done that with a lot of my brushes, and I'll be honest with you, they work really, really well. And if you haven't got any fan brushes, I recommend you at least get two and give them a whirl, because they're really good for clouds, they're good for leaves, they're good for waterfalls, they're good for seascapes. You'd be surprised what you can use a fan brush for. Let me get this in shot. There we go. You can pick it up just on the edge like that. And then this should give you different size, different shapes of foliage. And you can flick up again for grass. If this was blue, if you had a waterfall or something like that, you could put the line across and then just drag it down. I'll do that again. Let's put a bit more paint on my brush. because it is quite warm in here this evening. And as you can see, it's quite universal. If you can imagine the second and third highlights on these things on the trees, you'll see how it would lift. And especially with what I'm doing there now is the waterfall. If that was blue and white and amazing. And you can also do some fantastic fir trees as well with this brush. And you'll see that Bob Ross uses these type of skills in his paintings as well. And that's basically your fan stippler, so you can use it on its edge. So you need to play around, don't just use it one direction, you can use it different ways and you can get different effects with that. Again, washing my brush out. Now the wizard brush, as I said, 20% of the hair on this particular brush is, you could see, you might see better, but 20% of the hair is shorter than the rest. That's my Harry Potter brush, my wizard brush. It's a bit like me, really. I've got 20% less hair now. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's called a rake brush actually, or a wizard brush. It carries several different names, in fact. So, and I'll show you the effects of that one now. And I quite like this one for pets and things like that. And I think it's absolutely amazing. It's a really good brush actually. It really is. So what this does, it gives you nice grass effects. You can also use it in a field if you want to put some plough lines in. So it looks as if a field is being ploughed. I know it's a bit difficult looking at this, but this is because it's all green. You can use the very edge of the brush to give you some effects of different blades of grass. You can go a little bit thicker, you can push down. So you need to experiment again with these brushes. And the last brush that I'm going to show you is the Van Gogh brush. This is just basically a slightly larger version than the fan stippler, and it does virtually the same type of job. You can put in your trees. You see, as a slightly thicker piled brush. It's a stronger type of bristle as well. And there are so many different types. And it is man-made and it is synthetic and there's bristles, and don't get confused. Find a brush that you like. Use it to its advantage. That is the only thing I can suggest is just you need to know as an artist what works for you, and if it works for you, don't let anybody tell you any different. That's the most important thing in art. You do what you want to do, when you want to do it, how you want to do it. And if people are putting you down saying, oh, I don't like this, I don't like that, well, it doesn't matter, does it? At the end of the day, you're the artist, and that's all I'm saying, is that as long as you are happy, it doesn't really matter. And the same with the brushes. You've got to be happy with your brush. It's an extension of your arm. It really is. So just like a nice little oak tree there, with ivy on the trunk, look. And you can flick up some grass. So as you can see, you can quite easily make an effect. So I just dropped the camera down. You can quite easily make an effect. Again, you can use this for doing spruces. You know, and you can use it for doing fir trees and that type of thing. We'll go through all this when I actually go on to show you how to paint some trees. And I'm going to leave it at that there. So yeah, well, what do you think of that? I think that is absolutely phenomenal. And guess what? I just want to end this particular video today by saying My favourite painting this week, but they're all my favourites. Everybody is my favourite. But the one I wanted to really turn around and say that this caught my eye, and I thought if I was going to buy a painting, this would be the type of painting I would like. And so everybody's a winner in my eyes. You've done fantastic jobs, but I want to pick one a week that I like. Not above everybody. I'm trying to be diplomatic, but you know what I mean. I'm happy with everybody's, and but this one, I like this one a lot. And I want to say, Ron de Bruce, this is a conversation starter for sure. I absolutely adore that. There is no detail in that whatsoever, only what you make. And I think this is the type of painting that I like to create. And this is what my channel is all about, simplicity. Showing it to be such a complicated, detailed painting at a distance. But when you look at it, how simple it can be. But then again, don't let that make you think that that is not easy to paint. That could be quite difficult to paint. Sometimes the most difficult things are the easiest things. But I want to say thank you very much for surrendering that onto the site, Rhonda, and I think that is fantastic. Well done. Well done there. So I want to thank everybody for joining me in the studio this evening. I hope you enjoy these. As I said, don't forget to click the subscribe button. Don't forget to check those notifications. And if you're somebody that's watching this video and haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Make my day. Grow the channel. Let's get out there and let's build this community and let's get people painting for painting's sake, just to have fun, de-stress, have fun, relax. Stay safe, stay well, and in this time of this pandemic, I think it's important that we keep our mental health stable, and I think that's what painting is all about. So from me this evening, thank you very much for joining me in the studio, and I will see you next time on another chat. Bye.
It's time to learn with our friend Clive. So grab your brush, have a great time. And don't forget to click subscribe.